Motherhood is going to break you down, but rebuild you in a way in which I don't think you can really ever prepare for until you become a mom.
I just don't do a full bath. This is why, and you would need to understand my children. They're wild. When they get in the water, they were like mermaids or mermen. When they get in water, it's like another level. So at night, if I put them in a bath, it's not that they get to come out and they're like, oh, that was so... No.
When I see parents actually being firm with their kids and telling them when they're misbehaving in public, I don't mind. I like seeing that. To be firm with them and to tell them that they are acting absolutely ridiculous. Keep doing it, parents. We need more of that.
I just love just not having to spend my money on clothes that they're going to put holes in, that they're going to stain, that they're going to lose. Like, thank you, God, for all of you who give your clothes to some other mom and their kids. God bless you.
Welcome to Mama and Her, the podcast.
A space for mature mothers and women navigating the exciting journey of motherhood after 35.
I'm Kayla.
And I'm Shannon.
Your new mom friends inviting you into conversation to help you thrive in your mom era.
We celebrate all the incredible layers that make you, you. Before mom, there was and still is so much more to you.
We're here to remind our community that you are still that girl. Welcome back to another episode of Mama and Her, where motherhood, faith, and community meet. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Shannon, and thank you for joining us. I've heard that you listen in the car, you're listening doing laundry, you might be, just having you time. So we're just happy you're here, that you carved out time to listen and to join us on our special episode, which today we are going to talk about Mother's Day. And as many of us know, it's a special day. It can also be a hard day, but we are just going to dive into motherhood and what best practices and what we wish we knew before we became mothers, and talking about certain things that we might be judged for as parents. And we're going to end with maybe a love letter to our beautiful moms and to shout out some amazing moms that we know. So welcome. But before we start, so we're going to go into the good, the bad, the ugly. So how are you feeling, Kayla?
I'm okay. I'd say my good has been lots of good. It's been a busy time of year for me, so I've had a lot on my plate, but it's a good thing. I'm grateful for that. I would say the good is that I've been able to host some really amazing events lately, kind of like all over the spectrum of things. But it's been great. I've been loving it. And then my bad, I would say, is I'm still having to do my taxes. That is something that's been lingering on top of my head. I don't know. Hopefully by the time this airs, I will have done it and completed it. But yeah, that's, I would say, are, my good and my bad. How about you?
I would say my good has been, I saw a reel about just getting rid of clothes out of your closet. I don't know sorry. I was going to say her name, but now I don't know her name. So we're going to back that up.
Okay.
So my good was I decided to go into my closet and get rid of a bunch of clothes that no longer fit me. And I feel like I was holding on to them because I was hoping they would. And I saw, a post where someone said, having clothes in your closet that don't fit you is like torture, somewhere along that lines. And you just need to stop holding on to things that don't serve you. So I did, and it felt really good. I'm not a hoarder, but I'm a low-key hoarder. I don't know if there's a word for that. So it was nice to just release certain things that will never fit me, or nor do I want them to fit me. And not that I'm going to go buy new clothes. I have enough, but I really felt like it was a nice way to just get rid of some things and start over. So that was great for me. And then my bad, this happened a couple weeks ago. I did post about it on my socials, and a lot of you commented, but I left Naya unattended with scissors for like 5 minutes. She knows how to cut paper, and I left her with paper to cut. And I literally went to the washroom, and I came back, and she was being weird. And a couple hours later, I was brushing her hair, and a huge chunk fell out, and I almost fell off the couch, because in my heart, I thought maybe she was she was ill.
Oh.
That was my first thought because I didn't know she cut her hair. So there was not that thought. And then it just started to click. And then I looked over, the scissors were there, and something else clicked. A couple weeks before that, I found when I was vacuuming under the bed, she hid her Barbie hair that she cut. And she hid. So it was like a precursor. She was almost like foreshadowing that she was about to
Try her on her own head.
Yeah. And as many of you know who give birth to babies that have no hair, it was very traumatic because I know her hair will grow back, but I was like, I was not trying to overreact and scare her or make her, because she was just exploring, but like it's a massive chunk. And it took her almost 2 years to grow her hair, or 3 years. So I was a little bit, I was just like, girl. So I had to give her the lecture about scissors, and she doesn't even understand. So that was my bad personally. She's just moving on with her life. So just parents, if you have scissors in a toddler, do not leave them unattended. They will probably cut their own hair. But apparently my friends were saying that's not a normal thing. Like their kid never did that. But I don't know.
I mean, depending on how, I guess, were they regular? Were they adults?
No, they're kids' scissors, but they're like, they can cut they can cut hard paper, because she graduated to that, because they can't cut her finger because they're not that sharp, but they can cut hair. So she just was like,
where is it?
It's in the back, so luckily I can cover it, but like when she wears her hair in a fro, it's definitely like obvious. It's fine, but she also cut a little piece here. I just was like, anyways, just take the scissors or watch them. You just can't trust your kids, man, sometimes.
No. All right, well, that about wraps the first quarter of this Mother's Day edition of Mama and Her. So coming up in the next quarter, we're going to be sharing some things that we wish we knew before we became a mom and other best practices. But stay with us. You're watching Mama and Her.
Welcome back to quarter number 2, where we're going to just talk about some best practices as moms and some gems we would like to share with you. And then also what we wish we knew before we became moms, because there's so many things. So I'll start. So I was trying to dig through all the things that I think could, just add to your motherhood experience. These are things that work for me, but they might not work for you. But if you want to give them a try, I highly recommend. So the first thing I would say is a gem that I love is that I got a jogging stroller. It's different than a regular stroller because it's just how the wheels are set up. And I was able to just go for walks and also move at a faster pace when I was going out for walks with Nehemiah, specifically Anaya. And you can literally jog. And if you want, you don't have to, or you can walk fast, but you also can hold it with one hand and steer it, which I thought was a game changer. I don't know if you had a similar stroller.
I did. I had a jogging stroller too, which I didn't think I bought intentionally, but I was glad I had it because it was so easy. I will say though, it was very big.
Yeah.
It was very it felt like I had to lug it around. So I ended up getting a cheaper, smaller one for my the one that would go with me in the mall.
Okay.
Because that one, it weighed a lot. So it wasn't it was functional. Yes. Like very easy to run, and it was heavy duty, but not practical.
Okay, so I never got a different stroller, so I wasn't aware that there was a lighter stroller out there. So I just assumed all strollers were this heavy and bulky.
No, not at all.
So I made it work, but I did love even going out in the winter. I would take the stroller just was amazing in the winter and the snow and all that stuff. It's just great. So you can just literally let your kids sleep while you're jogging or walking fast, and you can listen to a podcast. And also it was a way that I lost a lot of my postpartum weight, was walking at a faster pace than a regular stroller, because I literally had one hand on. The next thing that I really loved was having a baby carrier or wrap. I got it a little bit late, but once I did, my kids just would sleep on me, and I would literally do all the, household stuff. I would be able to do so much because my hands were free. Also, my babies were so happy because they were on me, whether they were awake or sleeping. They stayed asleep longer than they would if they were in their crib. Yes, it was hard on the back sometimes, but I think it made me stronger. But I was just able to do so much. And I'm not going to lie, and I know people might be like, oh, you shouldn't do this. If I was wanting to sit and watch TV, I would literally sit on the bed with my hands on a pillow, and I'd undo the wrap, but they were still secured in the bum area, and they would just sleep on me on an angle.
Oh, gotcha.
And honestly, I fell asleep sometimes, but they weren't moving. And I know some people totally don't say you should let your baby sleep on your chest, but to each their own. You do your thing. But like the baby carry was life changing for me. And once you watch a couple YouTube videos, you'll know how to do it and what works for you. It looks a little intimidating, but highly recommend.
Well, there's like different types.
So many different types. Yeah. I like the ones that are just like basically a piece of fabric. And I don't even know the name of the one I had, but you'll find them. I would say the other two that I have is that I really, really am happy that I did. I set up email addresses, so a Gmail account for both Naya and Neo that has their first, middle, and last name. Because I've heard that it's really hard to get your name as an email as you get older. And I just thought maybe they would really appreciate having their like, not like Nehemiah NB Bartley 5625, when he's older. I got his full name with his initials, middle name.
Both of your children have very unique names that I don't think they're going to have to worry about that. Their names are not
actually
John Carter.
Nehemiah Bartley wasn't available. That's why I had to add NB, which is his middle name initials.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I would have never thought that.
I know. I agree. So Naya and Neo both have their own Gmail. And what I've done to add on to that, I know this is super extra and this is the teacher side of me, but I love writing letters. And every month from when they were born, I wrote them a letter and I attached a picture because I forget even how they are. So I would basically write down to them a letter about themselves and what they're doing and like things they're getting into. And I would email it to them, their email address, so they will have it when they get older. And also I would take video vlogs talking to them about themselves, and I email that to them. So it's something like, it takes time, but if you're on mat leave and you have time to do this stuff, it's just a nice reflective practice. Because I even think there's certain things I forget that they've done and they did. So now I have almost like a diary for myself. They have love letters from me and videos, and it's all sent to their email and into their Google Drive. So like I set it up from time. So those are like the main things that I think are just game changers, and I'm glad I did them. So amazing. What are yours?
Honestly, I feel like there's times where I don't have much, there's things I've wanted to do, but I didn't because I was just so overwhelmed in the first couple of years with Kennedy. But yeah, I would say some best practices or I guess advice or tips that worked for me would be, because I have such a terrible memory, I would say that taking plenty of photos, videos, just even moments that you think may not matter, they probably do, or they will years down the line. Like even now, like I look at Kennedy and she's so tall and she's so big now, and I actually forget how tiny she was, or like it takes me back when I watch a video of like when she was barely able to crawl. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, because I think that sometimes we're so wrapped up in the now that, yeah. So I would just say to any parent, mom or dad, to take as many pictures and memories as possible. And I would even encourage, if there's any listeners who are not moms today, to take the photo or the video for the mom, because often it's all the videos of just our kids, but it is nice when it's captured where we're both in it. And yeah, I mean, I think something that I've done a lot, and that's partially because I've had no choice, but it is bring your kids, if you can, if it's possible, to take them along for the journey. Yeah. I mean, quite honestly, because I am a single parent, sometimes I've had no choice but to bring Kennedy. Kennedy has gone with me to like everything you can think of. She's gone with me on the GO train. We've done road trips together. We've flown together. I've taken her to work with me. She has gone to events with me. Like she is my I birthed my executive assistant as practically, because she is just always with me. And, not every time, but with that, I think it's created her. She's someone who's very adaptable now at a young age, which I think is a good trait. So yeah, if it's possible, like include them into whatever your routine is. Like if you're a chef, like introduce them to the kitchen when they're nice and young. Like if you're, maybe if you can't bring them to the office, like a 9 to 5, no, but it's just like incorporating them into things that you like to do. I've seen videos where dads have taken their like newborns on the golf course with them. They literally like packed up their carrier and like they were just like sitting next to them in their cart. So it's stuff like that I think would be great. But
yeah, kids are so adaptable, and I think we sometimes don't give them that freedom. We just assume they're going to be hard, or we just assume they're going to not enjoy themselves. And I think they just want to be with us. They just want to like learn, and they just want to explore. And then obviously, like, it's nice when you go places and there's people that also play with your child and like, so you get to do some things. But I'm that person, like, I will not bring them to the grocery store. I will wait till I can go without them because I will not deal with that chaos. But I know for some parents, they don't have that choice. And maybe I should take them so they can learn like how to have grocery store etiquette. But I don't have time for that or the patience at this point. But I think it's great when kids get to explore and that we give them an opportunity to be part of our adult lives.
Yeah, for sure. I know it's kind of depending on who you are or the kind of parent you are, or maybe it's easier. It's like, easier said than done. If you have 4, okay, maybe not, but take it as a grain of salt. But I guess one thing else we wanted to talk about in this quarter was things you wanted or things you wish you knew before you became a mom. So what would be, what are some things that you wish you knew before becoming a mom, Shannon?
I would say that it's not as easy. And I think I've said this in a previous episode, that it's not as easy as my mom made it look. Or other moms. Like, I have a lot of mom friends that became moms way before me, and I just was always looking at them like, wow, they just really handle that with so much grace. And I just assumed that's how I would be, and I'm not. And sometimes I'm not, most times. And I and then, not to say that I'm with them, I'm a fly on the wall in their home, because I know no one's perfect. But I would say that's the biggest thing, is that motherhood, some women make motherhood look so easy, and it's not necessarily easy, but obviously super rewarding, and we need to give ourselves grace, because it's a beautiful title, a very important one. And if we always put so much pressure on ourselves, we're just going to always feel like we're not doing enough. And that's not okay, because we are. I would say sorry goes a long way, with especially my kids. I've also mentioned this. I have really rough moments that I bring home, and I take it out on them sometimes, and it's not fair. And all I say, I just decide to say sorry. Or Naya was giving me a hard time at bedtime, and I was like getting upset because I had to go to a meeting, and she just looked at me and she said, "I'm so sorry, mommy." And I said, "You know what, girl, I'm sorry too." And like it just sorry goes a long way. It does. I would say I'll just share 2 more. Like, postpartum depression, I did not know enough about it. I just heard about it. I didn't understand what it was. I don't know if people were scared to be honest about it. Maybe I didn't do research, because I didn't, but I felt like I've actually never understood how serious and bad it can be, especially if you deal with it on your own. So you need to get the support you need to find the support. You need to be open and honest with people. And I hope that your people around you are picking up on those signs. And let me go with, I'll say this. I think it's really important before you have kids, if you're doing it with a partner or a husband or someone that you're raising your children with, you need to have the conversation of how are you going to raise your children, whether or not you are of the same faith, whether or not you grew up the same, whether or not whatever it is. That is, I find, like, I thought we covered this, but Paul and I grew up very differently. We come from very different different cultural backgrounds, but also just grew up differently, like even where we lived. So when it came down to raising our children and disciplining, we butt heads all the time. And that is something we did not discuss, because I didn't think we had to, because we're so similar to, like in terms of our belief systems. But when it comes to discipline, and how are we raising our children, you have to have this conversation with your partner, your co-parent, whoever, because it can cause a severe problem in your relationship, and then it affects the kids. So that is, I would say, I wish I knew that. I wish someone really said, did you have that conversation with your husband about how you're going to raise your kids? Because you need to understand where he's coming from and what he wants. And does it align with what you want? And then what are you going to do if it doesn't? And that's the thing. So I would say those are the
But it's hard though, because in theory, if you have the conversation beforehand, you can say one exactly, and then it's like you throw in actual living, breathing children in the thick of their toddlerhood or whatever, and like their defiance and their blow ups and their like all of the stress of it, things can change.
Yeah, and I would say ours changed, and he's like leaned closer to what I want, and I've had to lean closer just because I understand where he's coming from. So yeah, it does change, but I think the foundational conversation, like, we are not doing Halloween, you know what I mean? Where I grew up doing Halloween even as a Christian, you know, and like that type of thing. Or are we doing timeouts? Are we doing like, you know, other forms of discipline? So yeah, I agree. It changes, and that's good. And it's just as long as we understand your partners, and you know, because the arguing about stuff is not helpful, and it can cause a huge divide.
Yeah. I get that.
What about you?
Oh man, things I wish I knew before I became a mom. The biggest, first and foremost, is that motherhood is going to break you down, but rebuild you in a way in which I don't think you can really ever prepare for until you become a mom. I would say for me, one thing I wish I knew before I became a mom is that this journey, this roller coaster of being a mom, it's going to break you down in a way in which you don't even think you're fit for it. It's going to make you question yourself. It's going to make you think twice. But it's also going to rebuild you back up into a different version of the woman that you never expected. So I would say that is like, for anyone who is, you know, if you're listening, if you're a newborn, or not newborn, brand new mom to a newborn, or maybe, you know, you are a veteran and your kids are grown, I think you will understand this at some point along in your journey. And for me, hearing that, if I wasn't a mom, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I get it. Kind of like postpartum depression. Like, oh, wow. Like, you hear about it, but there are certain things that until you experience it for yourself and you really, you take it in for yourself, you really don't grasp it. So, that, another thing I wish I knew before I became a mom is how much of yourself you're really going to realize is flawed, and that, you know, parenting, realize like you're not perfect. And I think for me, constantly a prayer that I constantly say, or even just a quick little moment when I feel like I don't think I'm capable of doing this sometimes, is like, Lord, you love Kennedy more than I love her. So like, help me to be the best parent for her. Help me to be the best version of myself. So it's giving ourselves that grace, because it's hard. It's challenging. It's not easy. But at the same time, I believe in my heart of hearts that the children that you are blessed with, or the child that you are blessed with, whether that is the child you birthed or that is the child that you have been given, like for whatever the situation is, like you are suited exactly for that individual. And like no one else can be like a better mom to them. And so just remember that when those days are hard or you question your ability, I would say that's what I wish I knew, that God blessed me exactly to be the mom for Kennedy Ann, and not for, you know, any, like in that's my, what do you call it? That's been my gift. That's been my task. That's been my assignment. So I would say that, and you will eventually sleep again. I'll just leave it at that. You will eventually sleep again. That about wraps up the second quarter. So we'll take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to talk about we're going to keep it a safe space and talk about some topics that involve whether or not moms judge each other on. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to the third quarter of Mama and Her. We are talking our Mother's Day edition. And so this time around, we are going to be talking about some different parenting scenarios that, depending on where you stand on things, may get you the side eye, or you are like, listen, I am unashamed. And yes. So we're talking no judgment parenting scenarios. And depending on if you're listening at home, maybe you'll agree with Shannon or with me on this one. We don't know. Or maybe we all agree or maybe we disagree. We're about to find out. So we're going to bring in Malika, our social media producer extraordinaire. So Malika, you have the questions or the scenarios ready. And we'll see where we fall on these.
Okay, let's dive right into this.
Yeah.
If your child doesn't eat what you made for dinner, they get another choice?
Yes.
Wow. Oh, see, listen, before I became a mom, I'm not going to lie. I was always like, I would never do that as a parent. And now I do the opposite. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we're opposite.
So what I mean by this is I don't mean if I made like a pot roast and like that's the pot roast that I'm making a whole nother meal. No.
Oh,
okay. You don't want to eat pot roast? That's fine. You can have whatever. You can have crackers. Okay. You can have fruit, like whatever's already pre-made in the fridge. Sure. I'm not going to force her to eat exactly what I had. I'm going to eat it. You don't have to, but I'm also not going to make a whole nother meal for her. So that's what I mean.
Not a whole other meal.
Heck no.
Okay, good.
No.
I was like going to say, girl, you're doing too much. Just
no. So that's what I mean by I'm still going to give her food.
Of course.
Yeah. But just like I said, like bread, like you get a piece of toast or something.
Which she probably would love.
She'll
the
love,
bread.
exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So that's what I mean
cheese.
by that. Yeah.
Okay. So I said no because I do have a husband who, again, we're so different. So I grew up, my mom was like, if you don't eat what I made, you don't get anything and you can go to bed hungry. So my mom was pretty much like very strict. I think it might be a West Indian thing. Paul is the same way. He grew up that way. If you don't eat what like my mom or your mom made, you're going to bed. You can eat it. There's nothing wrong. You're not allergic. So for me, so I have one picky eater and one non-picky eater. So like I will low key like go to the kitchen and like pass her like bread and crackers because I don't want, like she will refuse to eat food. But then again, like I don't know if I say like if we both stand strong and say no, will she end up just eating it because she loves food.
But she knows now. Well, I guess.
Yeah, I ruined it.
Paul knows this now because I was gonna say, but now she knows she'll always be able to go to you.
Oh yeah, I totally messed. I'm doing the thing that you should not do. But so I'm like, yes, she can, similar to you. But my husband Paul, he's like, nope, you don't eat it. You go to bed hungry, and that's on you. So
okay.
Bath time is every single night.
Yes.
No.
Kennedy
Judge me if you want, but nope.
Listen, Kennedy Ann gets bathed every night. And here's my thing. It does not have to be, it's like bath time when you see it on social media, you got the bubbles and you got the lights and it's this whole, no, we are like, it's efficient. It is part of bedtime routine. Okay. You get in, you bathe her, you wash her, you get out, jammies, lotion, PJs, bedtime books, bed.
I feel like that is most parents' routine. I feel like I'm the one that's going to be judged on this and people are going to be side-eyeing me. But listen, my husband and my husband's on board with this too. It's not just me. So,
but hold on, because they're only getting older. I can understand that when she's like a bebe, but now in their toddler, where their feet stink now, like
okay, I'm not saying I don't wipe them down. I just don't do a full bath. This is why, and you would need to understand my children. They're wild. When they get in the water, they're like little, they were like mermaids or mermen. Like when they get in water, it's like another level. So at night, if I put them in a bath, it's not that they get to come out and they're like, oh, that was so, no, they come out like Sonic the Hedgehog, like zipping around. So honestly, we used to do baths every day. And then honestly, my son started to get eczema on his skin. And then I tried different things, whatever. And I was told like, do not bathe them every day, but I do wipe them down with a washcloth and warm water and a little bit of like, light bath soap, but like I clean, obviously their areas get cleaned every single day. Like don't come for me, okay? But in terms of like I'm filling up the bath, I prefer if they would jump in a shower because not only am I saving money on like water and time, but they don't get as hype. But right now we're every other day. When Neo, like he's going to start bathing every single day because yes, he is in JK. That's the stuff that happens in that classroom. I'm sure he's just whatever. That's why we wipe and we do the wipe down in the face. Like we clean them, but the bath and then the hair, I feel like for like my hair texture is different, but like when they get in the bath, their hair gets wet, and I don't want their hair to get wet because I cannot wash Naya's hair every day because of her texture of her hair, and it's hard. I could put a bonnet on her, but again, the main thing is like A, they get so hype. B, I just don't think it's necessary. I think it's somewhat, see, and you're judging me. See, I could feel the judgment, right? That's fine. Listen, I was judging people too, but this is what works for us. And definitely when, for sure, later, soon, they will have to bathe every day. Weekends, we definitely bathe them because they go out and do stuff, and they have to look like they, but like I said, it works for us every other day. Their hair gets washed probably 3 times a week just because of the
that's
texture.
a whole different, washing your hair is a whole different thing as far as bathing.
Yeah, but they can't go in their bath with their heads not going under the bath. So it's like, it's just crazy to me. So that's what we do.
Okay.
Judge me if you want.
Okay. Your child decides what you listen to in the car.
I'm in the middle on that one, like 50-50. So on mornings or days when, you know what, sometimes it's just easiest, sure, I got the playlist. Like right now, she's all about Super Kitty, what else, Paw Patrol and all the things. So we have Kennedy's playlist, but there's some times where I'm just like, no, bump it. I want to listen to what I want to listen to, and you're just going to have to get on board. And most times, she gets on board. So now she knows my favorite praise songs. And this is so funny. I don't know how this happened. Oh, I do know how it happened. It all started with the Super Bowl. My girl is a Kendrick Lamar fan. This girl's like, Mommy, I want Squabble Up. I was like, okay, uncensored version or censored version. So yeah, there's a few songs now she knows, but yeah, not all the time. Because you're not gonna Bluey and Paw Patrol me to death. You're not in my own car. No. So yeah, that's me.
Naya runs me to the ground. Neo, he will listen to my worship music. He loves it. She loves it too. But if she says, Mommy, I want Frozen number 1 or 2, I just put it on because honestly, if I do not, the ride to drop her off is bare chaos with screaming and crying and kicking the back of my chair, and I don't have time to deal with that. And I actually really love the soundtracks, and I sing it. So even when I drop her off, I don't even change it right away because like depending on the song.
Sometimes I forget. You're right. And like I'm like tuned out, and then all of a sudden I was like, how am I still listening to Paw Patrol?
Yeah. The only time I don't is if she has a bad day at daycare and the teacher tells me and she's like, Mommy, I want Frozen. I said, nope, you don't get to listen to it because you had a bad day. And then she cries. But then I just put on but she'll cry the whole way home. So anyways, she runs me. Neil, he lets me do what I got to do. He's so easygoing. But yeah, she runs me.
Okay.
Your child is throwing a tantrum in the store or at the party. Do you give them what they want, or do you football hold them and leave?
I've done both.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle on that one. So it depends, because if I can't do a swift exit and I have to and we're in a place, so let's just say, I guess you could use the grocery store as an example. I will negotiate with her, like, okay, you can watch my phone while Mommy finishes grocery shopping. So my condition is you have to sit in the cart. Let Mommy do what she needs to do, and we can be out. And then if I really need to razzle dazzle my negotiations, I'll say, you get a lollipop if you behave at the end at checkout. So I will do that. However, there have been other instances where it has just been ridiculously like, oh, this is bad. And she's showing out right now. And I have dropped I even had items in the cart. I said, bump this, scooped her up like a football. And I was like, we are out. This is not worth it. So I will absolutely be that parent too. And my thing is, now that I'm a parent, I don't mind when I see other tantrums and blow-ups happening in real time by others. I overstand it. So I'm just like, hey, do you? So like and dare I even say, when I see parents actually being firm with their kids and telling them when they're misbehaving in public, I don't mind. I like seeing that. Because yes, don't not discipline them just because you know other people are around. I'm not saying whoop your kid in person. I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm gonna let the record show. But to be firm with them and to tell them that they are acting absolutely ridiculous, keep doing it, parents. We need more of that. We need more of that. So yeah. That would be my take on that.
No, when I see parents like giving it to their kids the same way I kind of do, because they're trying to raise their kids and have boundaries and discipline and understand respect, I give them the head nod. I'm like, and I even sometimes talk to them and because I know sometimes, especially as a mom, like you might feel embarrassed. I have before where I've gone off on my kids at the park. well, especially if I have one, like I will, so it depends on the scenario. Will I leave? Yes. If it's a park and there was not a lot of prep to get there and it's nothing for me to just take them home, if she's pressing my buttons or I will football hold them all the way home. They'll be screaming, kicking, they will cry it out, and then we'll have to have the calm talk. But I will leave and I will know my exit points with certain things if it goes sideways, because I feel like they need to learn. You cannot behaving like this and there's no consequence. However, if I'm at a birthday party and we dressed up and it's for family or friends and we had to drive far, obviously I'm not leaving, but I will say I'm leaving if you don't, or you're not getting cake, and I'm lying, because they are going to get their cake. They're going to get their cupcakes. We're going to stay to the end. So it's more like a fake promise, but I will fake it out, and I just end up giving in at the end. So it depends on the situation. I'll do both.
Cute. Okay. This one might be the last one. My child will have a cell phone and social media when they get to middle school.
No.
Cell phone, yes. Social media, no.
So what is that? Grade 6?
Middle school is grade 7, 8, but you can say 6 is junior, but yeah, grade 6, 7, 8. We'll say 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, I'm still indifferent about that. I still personally think that that's still too young to have a cell phone. I understand maybe for the purpose of staying in communication, if that's like the reasoning. That's still young to me. And then, hard no for social media. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
As an educator, I see the benefits of having a cell phone in terms of education. I'm not going to get into that, but it can be very tricky. So cell phone for me would just be for safety reasons and being responsible, them teaching me that they're responsible, but absolutely no to social media. And they're not going to have social media at all. Not for a while, so.
Okay, I think we have room for one more. Let's do hand-me-downs are the absolute best.
Yes. 1,000%.
Yeah, I have someone who just sends boxes. Kayla has given me stuff from Kennedy. I feel like I've won the lottery, because the amount of clothes you go through and how fast they grow is just insanity.
Yeah,
and I used to be that
insane.
mom that was like, oh, I have to have the cutest shoes and like no. And poor Naya, she wears all of Neo's hand-me-downs. And she kind of gives, like, she understands, but today she wouldn't put on Neo's shirts. She's like, that's Neo's shirt. I'm like, it's yours now. She's like, no. And I get it. I feel bad for her because she got all the hand-me-downs from him, and they're more so boy clothes, but that's okay. Girls can wear that too. But Nehemiah, like, I just love just not having to spend my money on clothes that they're going to put holes in, that they're going to stain, that they're going to lose. Like, thank you, God, for all of you who give your clothes to some other mom and their kids. God bless you.
Yep. I love them. I think they're great. And the biggest point is because you reach a point, like after 18 months like now I'm at 3, they grow so fast, to the point where I have items in her closet that she didn't even get a chance to wear. So I was like, great. So now I just will pass them down to my next, whether it's my cousin, my friends, people in my life who I know have little girls. And I'm like, here. And we just keep the process rolling. So, all right. Well, that wraps up the 3rd quarter of Mama and Her. So we are going to come back and wrap things up in the 4th and talk about, our moms and just amazing women who have been like moms in our lives to wrap things up. All right, welcome back to the last quarter of Mama and Her on our Mother's Day edition. So we've been talking about, our best practices, tips, things that we wish that we knew before we became a mom, some judgmental or non-judgmental things that we stand on. And so I guess as we wrap up this episode, we sort of want to just acknowledge, I guess, obviously, that while it is a beautiful day, it's also a hard day for a lot of people, a lot of viewers, ourselves included. Obviously, both Shan and I having lost our moms. And so I don't know how what your take is on it. Being an adult, it's like, it's twofold, right? Like, even though as we get older and yes, we're adults, I think there is still that gap that when you lose your mom, it never quite goes away. So it's like we can have these beautiful moments, and then there is still a part of us that, misses our mom and mourns that. So yeah, we also want to acknowledge that too, especially for anyone who's listening who can relate to that sentiment too, that today's not always a very happy-go-lucky type of.
And there's so many scenarios, whether it's you physically lost your mom at some point, you don't have a relationship with your mom, there's a broken relationship, maybe you don't get to see your mom, maybe you're distance, so many things, or you've wanted to become a mom and you're not yet a mom. I remember Mother's Day when my mom was here and I wanted to become a mom was very triggering for me. Like the posts and everything, the commercials, but I did have my mom. So like, I know for me, the thing that has helped with my Mother's Day and the loss of my mom is that I have my kids. If I didn't, I don't know. I think I'm assuming, because I still cry randomly. I still get triggered by things. Even last week, I said to Paul, all I want to do is call my mom. I just want to call her and just talk to her. And I just I still want that. And I'm a grown up. I'm middle-aged and she's been gone for like 5 years and I still just want to pick up the phone and call her. So even though I have my kids and then, there's other people I can lean on to but no one fills that gap. And then, it's a mixed day of emotions. And I know all these brunches are happening, like bring your mom. And it's so beautiful. So now I'm trying to just reframe when I see certain things. I'm like, well, I have my own beautiful kids that I am a mother to. But when I feel sad that I wish I could have brought my mother to this golf brunch for Mother's Day and treated her or bought her beautiful flowers because she loved flowers, fresh flowers. I just think I'm so happy for the women who get to do that. And I try to just remind daughters, especially your sons, if you are fighting with your mom or a parent, but specifically your mom who gave, who's, a part of you, that if you can repair that or do whatever it takes to just try to learn as much as you can from her. Because I do wish I asked her more about her motherhood experience. I thought I was going to have time. So I was going to ask her once the baby came. But and then I wish I asked her more about perimenopause and her marriage. And I was too late. And I wish I learned to cook what she told me I should learn to cook, the cultural Trinidadian food that she said, one day I'm not going to be here, Shannon. So you need to learn. I said, girl, you're going to be here. And she, and she was right. It's too late that for me, but there's other ways I can honor her. So I know it's a tricky one. So, and I know for you too.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think too, though, on the opposite end of the spectrum, I think it's also a beautiful time to also acknowledge amazing women who are like moms also in our lives and in our villages. I think of my aunts, my close family. I think of chosen family. I think that that's been amazing that I have women in my life who honestly have been mother-like in some way, shape, or form, whether it be elderly in age or even just the way in which, honestly, I see women in my life that mom and that I respect and I look up to and I admire. So yeah, I think it's absolutely it's a holiday or it's a day where we acknowledge that all kinds of feelings are valid and are probably felt depending on where you are. So if this is one of those days where this Mother's Day isn't the greatest, that is okay. If this is one of the most beautiful Mother's Days because maybe this is your first Mother's Day or maybe this is a very special one for a certain reason, then that's amazing too. It's just, it's so multifaceted.
Exactly. I was thinking of just sharing I call them a love letter. I used to write letters to my mom and I actually found them. I was cleaning out her room finally after 5 years of her not being here. And she kept every single card I wrote her. It was even from when I was a kid, she has them in her dresser. And I started crying because we fought a lot and I butt heads with her a lot because she was just so, almost to the point where she was just so perfect, and almost like it annoyed me how amazing she was, and I felt so much pressure, but she was so incredible, and like she loved me so much and my brother. But I found these letters, and I found a handwritten letter I did write her in 2015 when we were like kind of rocky, but like not. But it was basically just like telling her how grateful I was that God created her the way he did, and that she poured her love for God into my brother and I unconditionally, no matter how horrible I spoke to her or treated her, or how great I did and how much she just sacrificed. So I just want to thank my mom. I know you're listening. You've raised an incredible daughter and son, and I am your living legacy, and your grandchildren love you. Nehemiah was saying how much he loves Grandma Indra, and I don't, like that he just always talks about you, and I just know you just did such an incredible job. And I know you were very hard on yourself, and it wasn't easy for you to come to this country in your 20s and find the love of your life and raise a family and just adjust. And like, I just am in awe of like who you were and how you grew up. And I wish I knew more about you. And I just am so grateful you are with me, and I love you very much. So that is my love letter to my mom.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't say I've never, there's a lot of things that I wish I could say, or talk to my mom about. I think the more I look back and reflect, because she passed when I was so young, it's hard to, it's like, where do I even begin? Yeah. So, unfortunately, it's like, I know I've lived life longer without her than with her. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, I just try and hope, I'd like to think that most of my greatest qualities live in me came from her. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's only, and then even now as I look at Kennedy, and I'm just thinking of like the generations, and just knowing like, even though they may never meet, I know though that she lives on through me and now through her. Yeah. So, and for that, I'm grateful. Mm-hmm. And yeah. But then with that being said too, I'm also grateful for the opportunity now to build a beautiful mother-daughter relationship with my daughter now, and like create memories and legacy that I hope that she will be able to like look back on one day, and realize just how much care. So like, sometimes I think of all of the intentionality that I do to pour in, that I hope Kennedy will understand one day. It makes me feel at peace knowing like, wow, then my mom must have felt that way about me, even though I don't know, because she passed when I was so young. But I want to believe that she was head over heels for me, and that she loved me so much, and that even though our time together was short, she wanted to be there. And so, yeah.
I believe that completely.
Well, before we wrap up this episode today, we want to share, because of course, Mama and Her, we want to do a Mama and Her Mother's Day giveaway. So you can make sure to check out our socials and figure out how you can possibly win. But we just want to put together a gift basket of love, of things that hopefully will make your Mother's Day that much more special. So we will make sure to share that with our community pretty soon.
And also, I just want to acknowledge and shout out a beautiful florist, La Belle Flora Studio. They're located in Vaughan, and they deliver in the GTA, and their flowers are absolutely stunning. As you can see, the most beautiful bouquets. So if you need to put it in an order for Mother's Day, for whoever, for any occasion, they have so many options. But it's just, their flowers are just absolutely stunning, and like the details with the pearls, beautiful. So look them up. We will tag them on our socials. So, give them a look and see what they have.
All right. Well, that about does it. Yeah. So on behalf of us, thank you again for tuning in. Again, you could be anywhere, but you're choosing to tap in with us in our community, and we appreciate that. So until next time, we'll see you.